Bess with Stitching is the Best. Welcome back for lesson 2, beginning crochet. Last time we talked about how to do a slip knot and the beginning chain. So very quickly, I'm just going to catch up where I should be with my beginning chain. And if you'll remember on that last one, we made a slip knot, and you can see how I explained it in that other video, but just real quick, there's the slip knot. I'm using a size H hook. It is a 5mm, and this is actually the hook that I learned how to crochet on with my grandma. It's the actual hook that she showed me. You can see how the color is kind of coming off of it, but it's my very favorite hook. Anyway, you've got your slip knot on there. If I can get my yarn to act right. And we're going to chain up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're just going to do a swatch of single crochets, and this one has 10 chains, so in order to do a 10 crochets or 10 single crochets, we're going to have to chain 1, and all the patterns would tell you before you get ready to turn and work into all these stitches, you will chain 1, and then the directions will say go into the second chain from the hook. So you can see how these make the braid. We talked about that last time. That first one, if you go into that one, it's going to come right out, because see, that yarn is coming right out of that loop. So it's the second chain from a hook, and you will go right between, they call these bars or legs, you'll go right between those bars, insert your hook, you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's a single crochet. Let's do it again. Go into those that next stitch right between those 2 bars, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And now you see how that single crochet loop right there that I went into is kind of showing a gap. That's okay. That's okay. Just go slow, get the motion, go into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And on this example, I'm using some cotton thread, so you might see some actual fibers that come off, but that's okay. Cotton usually has really good stitch definition, so that's why I like using it in tutorials. You can really see those stitches. So the next stitch, go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And you'll do that all the way to the end of the row. Pull through 2. Next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch. And see how I'm pinching right there, like we talked about in the other video? You pinch so that you can keep your stitches right where you want them. And this doesn't want to come up. You don't want to, make it up too tall. You want to keep it wrapped around your needle pretty well. So here is the last stitch. Pull up 1 loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's what a row of single crochets should look like. Now, since you're at the end of the row, what are we going to do? Chain 1, and we're going to turn. You'll turn all that over, and you notice the back of your work looks a little bit different. It's got some bumps back here. This side, you can still see the stitches pretty well, but if on the back, you can see they're just a little bit different. It kind of has a little scallop. So when we turn, let me do that again. Let's do that last stitch again. So I'm coming into my last stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then chain 1. And then you'll take your work and you want it facing the back. Your needle is still on the right hand side, and see, since I chained 1 right there, I can't go into that hook or I'll undo my stitches. So it's the second chain from hook, which will be right there. So you do the same thing. From the top, it looks just like your beginning chain. Same exact thing. You go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Go right to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Now this, since we're only going into that very middle part, this is what they call going into the back loop. And you'll notice after you get going, these little stitches that are in front, let's see, we've got the back loop and the front loop, those are kind of standing up a little bit. And that's a kind of crochet that will come up, will show the ridges. So if we keep going and do a whole row of this, you will be able to see that there's a little ridge right there. And the reason I'm showing you that is because it's the exact same as the beginning chain. So that's a little bit easier, I think, because you can kind of get the steps down a little bit easier. When I was first learning, I would remember that it looks exactly like the first row, that beginning chain. So you just go right in the middle of that stitch. There's 2, pull over, there's your single crochet. And you do that all the way to the end. And it makes this really cool ridge. And that's called stitching into the back loop single crochet. Back loop single crochet. See the little ledge that comes up right there? Okay. Now, chain 1, turn, and you can do the same thing again. See, here's our first chain. You don't want to go in that one. You're going to go in right here to this second chain from the hook. Right in between those 2 bars, yarn over, through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to do 1 more row, just like this. Nice and easy. Make sure that your thumb and your other fingers are holding your work tightly. Not so tight that your hands get red, but, hold it in place so you can see the stitches and you can grab them easier. Go all the way to the end of the row. Nice and slow, not too tight, not too loose. Now, let me show you right here. A lot of times people get confused when they come to the end of the row. They'll see they've got that last stitch that's no problem going into. A lot of times they look at this little loop right here and they want to put their hook underneath that loop. That's the turning chain, so we don't want that one. That last stitch right there, that's our last stitch for that row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the thing about making sure you've got the right number of stitches. And make sure you count. If you feel like your count is off, put it down and count your stitches. We know we started out with 10. We chained 1 so we could go into that second chain from the hook. And then that gave us 10 stitches. If you don't do that, if you miss a stitch, you're going to see your work kind of turning in like that. You'll have a decrease, and you don't want that unless you're doing it on purpose. So let's chain 1, turn our work, and now let's see what it looks like. You can see right here, you can see the ridge that's going in the back loop. Let's see what it looks like going in to both loops. And this is what just a regular single crochet is. Now, looking at from the top again, we're going to go into that second chain from the hook, but this time instead of going between the 2 bars like we did on those first 2 rows, that beginning chain in that row 1, we're going to go under both. See that? So now you've got 2 bars under your hook, and then from there on it's the same exact motion. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And what that does is that grabs that other loop, so it's not going to have a ledge anymore. This is a simple single crochet. This one down here was a back loop, but this one you go under both bars, and it's a simple single crochet. You'll just see it called a single crochet. If the pattern ever calls for a back loop single crochet, then you'll know to just go through that very back one. But if they just say single crochet, it's automatic. You just go under both of those bars right there. See it? So you go under both of those, pull through 1, pull through 2. Next stitch, pull through 1, pull through 2. Underneath, pull through 1, pull through 2. Here comes my last stitch. We're not going to worry about that bump right there, but we do need to make sure, sometimes that last stitch is hard to get in. Make sure you go underneath both bars, pull through 1, pull through 2. So you see the difference? This one was back loop only, so it left that little ridge. This next row was just a regular old single crochet. So you can figure out and do whichever one is easier for you. I suggest you try both ways. It may be, let's chain 1, it may be that going under both is a lot easier for you. You don't have to have it standing up, looking at you like that. You can just kind of tell right above these two little legs, and you can see where all the stitches are. You just go right in between there. And that may be a lot easier for you to see and easier for you to do. And you might like the way that looks better than the ledge. That little ridge right there. Next stitch, pull up 1, pull up through 2. Next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And you'll go to the end of your row. That's a single crochet right there. That's all it is. Going into that last stitch. Do you see me having to wiggle? Wiggle your hook in there. Sometimes it's tight. Pull through 1, pull through 2. See there? So now we have a back loop, and these next 2 rows were just plain single crochets. Okay? Now I'm going to hush, and I'll just let you watch. You might hear a little squeak from my hook. This cotton yarn squeaks sometimes. That's okay. There's that last stitch. Wiggle it in there. Yarn over, pull through 2. You always chain 1 at the end of your row, and you will have a nice straight edge. Now, there is another way to do it besides chaining 1, but when you're starting out, that's all you need to know. I wouldn't worry about that other way unless you really want to search that and try it that way. But as you're learning, this chain 1 at the end, as long as you're going into the right stitches, it will be straight. And then stop every once in a while. You can stop at the end of every row and count your stitches and make sure you have the right number. Chain 1. There's 3 rows of single crochets, and that first row it's a single crochet as well, but remember that's a back loop. Looks a little bit different. Now, if I wanted to, I could keep going, and I make it this as long as I want. Like, you can make a headband out of this, or a teeny tiny little scarf. You can just make it as long as you want. But that is a single crochet, and it's Easy once you get going and get started on it. A lot of people like to use this stitch to make washcloths. This cotton is really good for washcloths for the kitchen, or taking makeup off with the cloths. These are really good. This cotton is really good for that. There's lots of patterns, free patterns on YouTube with people that make all kinds of things with cotton yarn and a single crochet stitch. Whoops, did you see what I did? Look at that. This is what'll happen. It's kind of stuck a little bit. Not because the yarn was sticky, it's just, happens. Still got 2 loops on my hook. It didn't go all the way through, so I got to make sure it went all the way through and then go into my next stitch. Okay. There's that last stitch. You chain 1, turn your work, and come back. And you keep going, and as long as you're holding your yarn with an even tension, you will have stitch definition just like that. Okay? Now that first one, remember, that was that ridge. That's the back loop. So you can see the difference. Okay, I'm going to end it here. If you have any questions, just give me a comment down below and I will respond. I read everybody's comments, so if you're confused about something or if you have a question about anything, just let me know and I'll be sure to do what I can to help. Thanks for watching.